because I changed the title. The title was New Number Who Dis because I have to get a new number. But the reality is I got robbed. And when you get robbed, it doesn't always have to be a material thing. But in this case, I was robbed. And that's exactly what it is, being robbed, because something was taken. And I explained yesterday on the live how good evening, Mag, good evening, how this transpired. So let me catch everyone up who was not in the live yesterday. I just returned, actually not too long ago. What is the date? Today's the 16th. I think I returned on the 10th. So this has been like over the past 2 weeks. Because the first week of January, this is when I was in Tahiti. Because as I said, I don't care where I am for New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is for amateurs. It's for amateurs. It's for those people like, oh, I'm going to be somewhere for New Year's Eve. No one cares. That's for amateurs. That's for people like with normal 9-to-5 jobs. So, and as I've said, you probably aren't going anywhere great. You'll go to somewhere like Las Vegas, which isn't the greatest New Year's destination. Definitely not New York City. I don't know why people travel to New York for New Year's Eve, because it's cold, it's gross, especially if you're out watching the ball drop. What is wrong with you? It's the worst place. And I think I've purposely never been there, but I might have, because I'll just go to sleep. I've done New Year's a lot of places because I would typically lay over for New Year's somewhere, or I would stay home. I don't really remember, because for every New Year's or my birthday, I was always in a different country or a different city. So I don't know. For someone who's does it and it's a big deal because they do it once every 10 years, you would definitely remember where you were for New Year's Eve or your birthday. But I did it somewhere different for a long time. And what's up to all of the people on my Hope is Speaking live. So yeah, I was robbed. So I went to Tahiti and I was there the first week of January, and it was fantastic. And the first few days we were on foot. Okay, Frisco, thank you. I say my New Year's is my birthday. That is my birthday. That is my New Year's. It's technically a new year for me. I don't really care about New Year's, but if I'm somewhere cold, I must be somewhere warm. There's a reason why I choose to live somewhere warm. And that is the ultimate FU to life. Like, I will only live where I want to live. And it's much easier to be in a place that's warm all the time. Like, you can be outside, it's predictable, you know you can wear shorts and a t-shirt or what have you. But I made that decision because living in the cold, especially living in the snow, when I moved to Hawaii, when I moved to Maui, I had shared with people like, yeah, I never want to feel cold. And immediately they'll say, I like all 4 seasons. How do you know? How do you know? Maybe you're just used to all 4 seasons, but I say that because they've never put themselves in a situation where they've actually lived in a place with mild temperatures the entire year. And I'm not talking about hot like Texas hot. That's too hot. What I'm saying is, I made the choice to be so specific that I will live in my perfect climate. Not, well, I like the seasons. You just say that. You just say that because you want to justify your inability to live where you really want to live. No one wants to be in 120-degree weather. It is insane. Your skin feels like it's falling off. I can do cold. I can do, here's the other thing. That when it is said I can do cold, I can do everything. I can do everything. It's what I choose to. It's not one or the other. It's what I choose to. And when I say I choose to live somewhere warm, it's because I've lived in many different places. So it's not only thinking of the seasons in one location. And I share that because again, so there are a group of people who have lived in different places, but if you haven't, you can only conceptualize seasons or summer or cold to the only place you've lived in. So what summer is in Hawaii is different from summer in Central California, which is different from summer in New York, which is different from summer in Chicago, which is different from summer in Tokyo, which is different from summer in Brazil. Like they're all warm, but they're completely different. The Central Valley in California, I know, I lived in Virginia too. Here's the thing, I've lived in all these places. So, and VA, I think, is colder. No, it's a little bit warmer than New York. Further north, the further north that you go in the Northeast, the colder it gets. It's always in the 80s. It's not regular, it's just always in the 80s, but there's still a variation. There's still, I know, I've lived there. I know that there is snow in Virginia, and I'm speaking to I Am Jeremiah on my Hope is Speaking YouTube because I also go live at the same time. So subscribe to my Hope is Speaking YouTube because that's where I always go live at the same time, and I will continue to go live. So, yeah, and it's terrible. And I remember being based in DC, and I don't have any thoughts of Florida weather. I don't really think too much about Florida. I think Miami is sexy. I do enjoy Miami, but I don't think of Florida weather at all. So I remember dragging, because remember, I was a flight attendant for 15 years. So this is why not only have I lived in all these cities, but I've visited everywhere a bunch of times. I don't care about the Carolinas, so I don't think about the weather in the Carolinas either. I Am Jeremiah. However, I have a sister who lives in Charlotte, and the last time I went to go speak, which was in Charlotte at a wonderful event for women who have chosen not to take the path of birthing children, it was nice and it's mild. It's not hot like, say, Georgia or Mississippi. It's mild and it's beautiful. So I do enjoy the Carolinas, but I still wouldn't live there. So I remember dragging my suitcase in the snow while I lived in DC, and it was like, why? I'm glad I did it because I would do it. I wouldn't complain. This is just what I have to do. I have to drag my suitcase through the snow until I get to the train or to the bus or to the taxi cab. It wasn't a complaint. It was just an observation. This is what it is. And because I lived years in these places and gathering information from living in these places, I gathered I don't choose to have this as my norm. And I understand, but also as you're listening, for almost 20 years, I was often in a different place. And I would move every 3 to 5 years because I wanted to. I wanted to see, how would this base be? Or I want to live in this city, or I want to see what I develop into by living in this city. So I have not been central to one location for more than 5 years, for quite a long time. So I remember dragging my suitcase through the snow in the district in DC. I remember dragging my suitcase in the snow in New York, as well as New Jersey. And London, it doesn't snow, it's rainy and it's bitterly cold, and it is a humid cold. It's not just like a New Hampshire or Boston cold or St. Louis cold. It's like a frigid, humid cold. It like rattles your bones. And so, because of all of that, I like being somewhere warm. And so, I was intentional about being somewhere warm because you're just happier. You're happier when it's warm. No one ever says, I never want to live in a place with 79-degree weather. Thank you, Mag, for liking and sharing the live. Said no one that the sun is always shining and there's a slight breeze and I don't like it. Said no one. So I like the warm. You're more inclined to be outside and walk around and be active when it's warm. Your joints stay warm. So when it's cold, that can be a challenge for some people, especially with their muscles. But if it's warm, you don't have to think about this. And plus, you always look better in the sun with a little tan. It's just what it is. So I went to Tahiti with my niece, stayed a few days, and I don't even remember the days because I don't know, like, is this day 3 or day 4? But in Tahiti, after a few days of walking around the city center, because we had Airbnbs right in the city center, and walking to the markets and walking to the wharf and eating on the water, and I decided to rent a car so we could drive to a waterfall and different beaches and different parts of the island of Tahiti. So I rented a car and I made a whole itinerary on ChatGPT, a whole itinerary. And I use ChatGPT for everything. You can use ChatGPT, hi, Papa Frita Strike, to analyze your dreams. I was saying hi to someone on live because I'm also streaming on Hope is Speaking on my YouTube channel. So, dream analysis. You can go to ChatGPT, analyze this dream, and type your entire dream and press enter, and ChatGPT will give you a breakdown, and it's amazing. So I asked ChatGPT to, number one, give me the kilometers for this itinerary for the day in Tahiti, which was starting with me going to a supermarket, getting some fresh bread because it is a territory of France. So the bread is amazing, the butter is amazing, the pre-made food is amazing. Thank you. I actually got this dress while I was in Tahiti at this place called Cozy Home. In fact, let me show you, because it's very like Tahiti is very laid back, just like most of the islands. However, let me show you, because I love it. Let me show you. Okay, so it's just a very free dress. I love it. Okay. Yeah, it does. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As it should. But I know how to dress. Most Americans don't know how to dress. They only know tight and stretchy. And actually, when you are, when you have a slimmer build, it is favorable for things to like hang off you. So it's not tight, like constricted. It actually flows on the body, oversized, which I appreciate. So I bought this, and the lady imported all her stuff from France and Italy. Tahiti, there is no over. It is all, because living in is Hawaii's always my home. So, and I've also said this because some people, yes, it does. I've always been asked, like, where's your favorite place? Well, I was a flight attendant for 15 years. Like, I've been to a bunch of places all the time. I remember, like, in a day working from LA to London, getting off the plane in London, getting back on the plane in London as a passenger and flying right back to LA to take another flight out of LA to my hometown to be with my sister for her birthday party. That was just my life. It sounds almost like a celebrity, but that was my life. That's what I've known. So there is no one place that's better than the other. They all serve their purpose. Hawaii has a special place in my heart. It was one of my favorite vacations as a kid with my family and all of my sisters and my mom and dad. And then it served as a safe space, me moving there in 2019 and like just experiencing life. So I don't see Hawaii over Tahiti or Tahiti over Hawaii. I mean, they look the same. There's a difference in feeling because Hawaii, although was overthrown by the US, it feels less like you're in the US, but you're still in the US. That's what I love about it, because I don't care to live in the US. I don't care to live on the mainland. With pleasure, Yogi. I just don't I'm not I appreciate the things that I find appreciative for living in the US. And I will leave it there. But the only place that I would live if I have to be in America is Hawaii. I don't want to live in any other state. I am from California and I appreciate it. And my family is still here, and my mom and my sisters, and I do. But I love to wake up and go to sleep in Hawaii every day. And as a person who has been to about 70 countries, it was a different feeling, because out of all of the places that I've gone to, I would never say, you knew I wasn't going to say Georgia. I don't want to live ever in the South. I've been adamant about this. It's not, I appreciate all of these places. When I gave that keynote at a retreat in Mississippi, it was amazing. Like the feeling there on the farm that I spoke at the flower farm, felt like Maui. It had a certain energy. It was calming. It was beautiful. What's up, Nikki? Thank you for your messages. But I don't want to, when I say I don't want to live in the US, I don't care to live in the US. But if I have to, it will never actually be in the South. If you hear me say I want to be in the South, there is something not right with my head, and have me checked out immediately. So yeah, no, don't want to. I just, no, and no. I do have family there. I seem to have family everywhere. So Tahiti, rented a car, went to ChatGPT, I had ChatGPT create an itinerary for this day in Tahiti, where I rented the car. We were going to go to the grocery store, buy food, then stop at Point Venus, which is a black sand beach in Tahiti on the island of Papeete. Then spend about an hour there. From there, drive 5 minutes. Everything's very close, because again, this beach was only a 15-minute drive from where I was staying in Papeete in Tahiti from the city center. So 15 minutes on the freeway, the motorway, to Point Venus Beach, black sand beach. Stay there for an hour, then drive 5 minutes to this blowhole. So the volcanic rocks have eroded so much that when the water from the ocean comes under these volcanic rocks, which is right by the ocean, there's holes where all of this air will shoot up, and it's like a blowhole coming out of like a whale's blowhole. So we were going to go see that and then drive another 5 or 10 minutes to these waterfalls. And it was three, in translated, it's like the free three waterfalls. And it was only a 5-minute hike, which is a 5-minute walk to the waterfalls. So we were going to go and see that. And then we were going to drive to a white sand beach and watch the sunset over Morea. So Morea is another island in Tahiti where you can take a short flight, but most people take the ferry. And a ferry may be like $20 each way, about 30 to 45 minutes. Or you can take a plane to Bora Bora. There's several islands, so each island is pristine and different and blah, 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 blah. But this day, we were just going to explore what we could explore on Papeete. And so this is what we did. We got in the car. Oh, I also asked ChatGPT to give me all the kilometers because rental cars, and I know this from my father, and being an expert traveler, they try to sell you on packages. And I was like, I don't need that package. I don't need a package with all this mileage because ChatGPT already estimated my mileage with extra, which would have been like 60 kilometers. And you're selling me a package that would charge me like 150 kilometers. So why am I going to pay that? So I take that, I rent the car for a great price and said, I don't need this, I don't need this, this is what I need. I pick up the car, I pick up my niece, we have our food, we have our water, we have our sarongs, we have our oil to oil ourselves up and tan in the sun. Birkenstocks, everything we need, change of clothes, workout clothes, and we go to the beach. So we go to Point Venus Beach, and it's beautiful because this is, the water in Tahiti is like that crystal blue water. Like it looks like the Bombay Sapphire Gin. The water is that color. It is that blue color. And you look through the water and it's pristine and clear. And you see fish and you see coral reef and you see stingrays. It's absolutely beautiful. And it was a sight to see. So what's up, Lady T? We did that and we looked and then we walked on the black sand beach and we took a short dip in the beach in our like workout clothes. And we decided, hey, we're actually going to get in the water because I'm a great swimmer. I am, thank you, Lady T. My niece was actually a lifeguard and a swim instructor, so we love to swim. We walked back to the car, changed into our bikinis, and left the workout clothes, left the things we didn't need, and we brought 2 reusable bags with a sarong, our oil, some water, and our phones so that we could walk back to the beach and go swimming. And so we went swimming, laid our bags down under a palm tree that was curved, and the water was so lovely. I love the ocean water. I love it. I love it. I love the ocean water. I love it. I just love it because you get in the salt water and it's so good for you. And when you go to islands, people are relaxed because that salt water is full of magnesium and minerals, and it just draws out all the gunk in your armpits and your skin and your pores, and that magnesium allows you to sleep beautifully, and it's just like the most calming moment. And I was so happy, and I was like, I am so grateful for this moment. Thank you, Hattie V's, for sharing the live. And I just felt so grateful because I had shared about 2024, and the end of 2023 is when my father, who was 76, died, and it has been a character building experience. Notice, I didn't say bad, I didn't say horrible, I didn't say something I can't come back from. What I said was the grief and the lessons I've learned about myself through the process of grieving and continuing with what life is now has been a character building experience. And yeah, I've heard the constant thing of 2024 was tough. Like, and I'm a tough cookie. Like, I am unbreakable. I'm strong like bull. And it was like a challenge. It was like, okay, I know I am getting through this. And I know I'm stronger because of this. And this is effing hard. It's all of that. I am getting through it. I am learning. I am transitioning. I am growing. And this is really challenging. And this is really hard. And this is like incredibly life-changing. And what the F am I doing? And I'm doing it. It's like all of them. And I share that because also often the thought is like, this is so hard, I can't do it. Stop saying that. It's hard and you are doing it. It's hard and you are growing. It's hard and it's okay. Like, it's a part of it. It's a part of it. Yes, it was incredibly challenging. I felt like everything that I deemed recognizable and normal for my life was no longer there, which is beautiful because I thought, well, if I don't feel like my surroundings are familiar, that means I can just make it up. I can just make it up as I go. I can just expect great things to happen. I could just expect that, like, this is leading me to where I need to be. I can expect that this is creating, I am the best version of myself. I'm not even creating it. I am it through this discomfort, through this challenge. And so I'm thinking of all these things while I'm on the beach in Tahiti with my niece and just smiling and crying and like, oh, I'm so grateful. This is amazing. And I asked my niece, I said, let's go on a stroll on the beach. So we left our beach bags with my 2 phones, her 1 phone in her bag. We went for a stroll and talked and came back and went to just check the time because we had no way of identifying time. And when we went to pick up our beach bags, we reached in and I immediately did not see my phones, plural. And something, see, the thing is, I don't believe that these things happen to me. So the fact that I picked up my bag and did not see my 2 phones, the thought is, well, maybe it fell out. Maybe it's in the sand. Maybe. The thought is never someone stole my phones, but that's exactly what happened. And same for my niece. So it both hit us at the same exact time. And we noticed our phones weren't there. We're in this on this beautiful black sand beach. And we both look at each other like, we got. So we got robbed of 3 phones. And I immediately was like, the day is canceled. Like, the day is canceled. I had the full day planned out. I had the day planned out where we were going to the blowhole, the waterfalls, another beach. Done. So not doing it, not seeing it. Day's canceled. Phones is gone. Canceled. It's done. Okay, it's done because you have Where's My iPhone and you have your MacBook at the Airbnb, and that's where we're going to go. And then I'm going to the police and we are reporting this, and that's what it is. The day is canceled because what the F? Been robbed on the beach. Someone came up on 3 phones. 3. I don't blame them. Like, that's a come up. I get it. I get the game. That's a come up. And I remember my niece saying, but we always leave our stuff when we're in Maui. And I said, sure, but we're not in Maui. You gotta, and this is the same thing in life. Sometimes you gotta look around and see you're not in that place anymore. This is a different space. This is a different place. This is a different time. I also say this doesn't ruin my whole outlook on Tahiti. This is something simple that happens. Thank you, Cultured Unicorn, Malika. It's something that happens. I am okay. We are okay. Our bodies were not harmed. We were not put in danger. This is okay. This can easily be rectified. And this also comes with, like, I would think of my dad, and he's like, you can't lose your head. Like, this is simple. Yeah, your phones are gone. So what? The thing is, you actually can't do anything about it right now. So mourn the loss. Feel what you feel. But the thought of, well, if I would have, well, all of the things that are gone, well, what am I going to do? It's already done. I quickly accept that and swallow it and say, okay, the phones are gone. What can I do? Well, I can go and find my iPhone. I can report it to the police. I can buy a new phone. That's what I'm doing. I'm not stuck on what happened. What are you going to do? And keep your head on your shoulders. This doesn't need to ruin my day. I got. You got robbed. That's it. You just got robbed, okay? You got robbed. Accept it. They caught you slipping. Your ass went walking on the beach. You aren't in Maui, okay? You got caught slipping. The jig is on you. Phone's gone. Okay? So this is why you don't see any pictures about this trip, because the pictures are gone, okay? They're gone. It's I have the picture in my head. And I remember my niece saying, like, oh, we should take a picture. I say, I always have the picture in my head, because I do. I don't need to show anyone. In fact, I hate when people show me their pictures. I don't hate it. Yeah, the memory is what matters. Like, I'm there. I can recall it. So day is canceled. Get your bag without the phones. Let's take our butts back to the car. So we go to the car, and I was really proud of my niece because within 10 minutes she was laughing. And I share that because all so often something will happen in life and it changes everything. Like, we allow it to build. We allow it to ruin our day, to ruin our week, to ruin our month, to ruin our life. I don't care. The phone is gone. That's all right. I can replace the phone. But this doesn't have to ruin my trip. This doesn't have to shift the course of my day. That is the lesson here, Hope. Yeah, that happened, but you're still in Tahiti. You're still, like, at this beautiful black sand beach. You still have a beautiful Airbnb that you get to drive back to. You're still enjoying this time with your niece. That did happen. But remember that. So my niece kept saying, Hope, you kept saying, like, we don't have our story yet. Because we always have a story from when we travel. So the story starts after we got robbed. So we got robbed, and my niece said, I immediately turned into the American. I was like, nah, day's canceled. I'm going to the police. This is it. I'm going to the police. And I'm a French speaker, so even more so. But what I also mentioned is the policemen are the most gorgeous men you'll ever see. Like, the police in Tahiti are beyond fine. They are, like, absolutely stunning men. So we were so happy. I was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, we got robbed. That already happened. But before we go to the police department, we are driving back to our Airbnb. We are taking showers. We are oiling up. We're putting on some red lipstick, our new dresses, and then we're going to the police department because the police are fine, and they're chiseled, and they're tall, and they're muscular, and they're just so polished like French men, but they're beautiful and tan and just, like, amazing. And so we were looking forward to this. And I share that because listen to how I'm talking about this. I'm talking about being having my phones taken from me, but I'm not focusing on that. In fact, I was focusing on like I get to go report this, but I chose to. I could have easily harped on the fact that my phones are stolen. Get these thugs off the beaches. get these get these thugs off the street. Get these thugs off the beaches, going and taking these young ladies' phones. This is the real this is the real problem. Get these thugs off the beaches. So we're in the car, and as we're going back to the Airbnb, remember we've been using Google Maps. So now, and I'm like MacGyver. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Because now I have to use my photographic memory and I have to use landmarks to get back to our Airbnb, which is in the city center. And we're completely far away at this point. So it's like, okay, it's basically a straight shot, but here we go. So we get in the car and we're driving, and it's like a light mist of rain, and the mountains look like broccoli because they're just covered in greenery. And we're driving back with no music. We're laughing, we're quiet, we're like, ugh, how could this happen? Like, I already know. I don't remember any of my passwords. Like, I rely on the computer to remember my passwords. That's the first lesson. We secure everything with our phones. Tap to pay, Airbnb, your boarding ticket is all on your phone. No longer have the phone. So we're driving back, we're laughing, we're quiet, we're pensive, we're trying to make our way back. And my niece remembers seeing this crane, this orange crane in the sky. And she said, I don't think I remember seeing that prior to us like walking around when we didn't have the car. And I said, well, you didn't have to, because I was directing us and I was using the phone and we were walking. And I share that because you don't see what you're not looking for. I didn't have to look for landmarks because my Google Maps was my guiding light. And as a flight attendant, often we would just use landmarks. That bakery on the corner, make a right, the hotel is there. That, what's up, Quiet Storm? That church is 2 blocks away from the layover hotel. There's a great restaurant 3 blocks away. That's how I knew, especially in any city I go to, I know from that. But we were using Google Maps. So to get back, and there's a lot of one-way streets, we get back to the city center, and I know where we're staying, but there's one-way streets. So I would go down one street and say, oh, I actually needed to go further down before I made a left, but now I have to like circle the city center because it's all one-way streets. And I essentially circled exactly where we were staying for probably like 2 hours. Because I knew it, but I didn't know exactly how to get there. And my niece is laughing because we're kind of like, we'll figure it out, but we don't have our phones, but we are going to figure it out, but we are going in circles, and we left and the sun was up, and now we're back in the city center circling and the sun is down. And also the calculation I got for ChatGPT for the amount of kilometers I was going to drive is now significantly up, because I'm just circling around like, I think this is it, but this is one way. Okay, so we finally make the right turn on the right street, and we get to our flat, our Airbnb, our an apartment in the city center. And I said, take everything out of the car because we ain't getting robbed again. Okay, not doing it. Don't like it. Not at all. Take everything out of the car, everything out of the trunk. And I always do that. I don't like leaving anything in the car. So we take everything out. Now understand, it is nighttime at this point. It is nighttime. This happened around maybe noon or 1 in the afternoon. It is like dark. So it might have been maybe 5 or 6, something like that. And we get to our Airbnb, and that was the plan, to go up to take a shower. Here's the thing, when I say don't lose your head, I was not in a space of, I gotta rush to do this. We got into the Airbnb. My niece was the first to take a shower. I made a nice cup. I turned on the kettle. I had a nice cup of tea. I had a glass of water. I had a dessert. It was almost like a cream puff, but it was from this local bakery, and it was filled with some sort of delicious filling, like was it chocolate mousse? It was light, it was delicious. Because Americans, the desserts are just sugar. It's just pure sweetness. You don't actually taste the essence of vanilla and the pureness of chocolate and the silkiness of the mouthfeel from the mousse. It's just like chocolate, 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 sweet. No. There should be texture. There should be sponginess, and it's like delicious. So I had that dessert as I was drinking my cup of tea, and I had some water, and then I picked out what I was gonna wear. This is while my niece was showering, and then she came out and I said, I made you a cup of tea, and there's another dessert, because I had 2 desserts. And I'm sharing this because remember, hours before, both of our all 3 phones were stolen on the beach in Tahiti. And I'm here casually at my Airbnb, drinking a cup of tea, enjoying a dessert, having a glass of water, not even freaking out. It was like, this will get handled. And I can always buy a phone. This does not have to ruin anything. I can buy a phone. So my niece comes out of the shower. I've selected what I was going to wear. I get in the shower. I take a beautiful hot shower and moisturize my body and just wash the day away, because now we're going to the police department with the most handsome men ever. And that was the outlook. Like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Like, we're putting on brand new, beautiful dresses to go to this police department with all of these handsome, muscular, golden men, Polynesian men. So we get in the car, we get dressed, we bring her MacBook, because one of her friends shares her location. So she took a screenshot and said, this is where your phone is. Like, she has a great set of friends. So we get in the car, but we don't have connectivity. So I have to remember from my mind how to get to the police department in Tahiti, because our phones have been stolen. So what I learned was, don't lose your head. But we got to go report this, and I'm excited. And it's an adventure, because I'm in Tahiti, and although I had been walking around the city of Papeete for the past couple of days, maybe 3 days, now I'm in a car and I have to pinpoint the police department, but I don't actually know where. I know the vicinity, but I don't know where. So me and my niece get in the car and we drive, and I start driving and taking turns, and I'm like, okay, I think it's here. I think it's here. I'm just taking turns. Well, I took turns and I drove into, like, it wasn't the hood. It was just like the local area. Because if I say the hood, most people, especially if you're in the US, you're thinking of it looking a certain way. It's beautiful. It is pristine. All the houses are close together. There is no front yard. It's just houses, houses, a very narrow road in between. But you could tell this is like the local area where people's grannies are outside, people are just outside. I'm like, okay, I clearly stand out. And I've turned down this road that meanders through the whole from it's like the local area, and people are sitting out in front of their houses, and I am like, okay, I need to turn around, but there's nowhere to turn around, and the streets are so narrow. So it almost looked like Japan, where Japan has very narrow streets and homes on each side, but not like a front garden or anything like this. But anyway, I'm thinking, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here because this isn't leading me to the police department. It's actually not leading me to the city center. I'm just like in the local neighborhood. People are outside. I gotta get the heck out of here. So, since I don't see anywhere to turn around, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna reverse out. Cause I just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, and cats are outside sitting in their plastic chairs. I'm trying to get out of here. The whole time, my niece is laughing because she was like, how did you even, how did we get here? She's laughing. So I hear a reverse, and I'm in a little hatchback because it's a European island. So all of the cars are very small. So as I'm hitting reverse, I'm going slow, but I think I had stopped, and somebody just local came up and just leaned on the passenger side window because we had the windows down. And she was like, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm fine." And this is all in French. Local woman, local Polynesian woman. And she just starts a conversation. She's just like, yeah, so it stopped raining for the day. I'm like, yeah, it has. She was like, yeah, it was raining a lot, but now it's done. And I'm thinking, I need to get out of here. Like, I know it stopped raining, but I don't need, like, what? I need to get out of here. I know she wants to talk about how it was raining. She's leaning on the door, not in a threatening way. She's just talking. I'm just like in the local neighborhood, but I'm thinking I need to get the heck out of here. So I'm like, yeah, it is, but I gotta go. She was like, do you know where you're going? I said, well, kind of, but I gotta go. Bye. You lean in the car, bye. So I hit reverse again. Now I'm going very slowly. As I'm looking back and going in reverse, I see this little kid on his bike right in the middle of the street, and he falls right in the middle of the street. And I'm thinking, how is this even happening? Like, this little boy just fell off his bike in the middle of the street. Like, how is this happening? Get up and get your bike. I need to get out of here. I'm like in the hood. I need to get out of here. Right now, I need to get out of here. So the little boy picks up his bike. He gets on his bike and he like rides off. And so I kind of start going faster because at this point, I'm thinking I need to get the heck out of here. Let me kind of pick up the pace. So I'm hitting reverse a little bit faster, and there's three people sitting outside the house, like in the plastic chairs as I'm hitting reverse. So I'm hitting reverse a bit faster, but by faster, I may be going 7 miles an hour. So as I'm hitting reverse, I hear someone and I see something fly. Now, my niece tells me one of the dudes is like, hey, slow down, boom. And he throws a water bottle at the car. So I'm reversing, trying to get the heck out of Dodge. Old boy is like, yo, slow down, which I get. If you in my hood, you on my block, you on my street, slow down. There's kids around, there's families here. But then he threw a water bottle at the car, and I was thinking that is not beneficial, because typically if you say, hey, slow down, someone will receive that. But if you say, hey, slow down, and you throw something at someone's car, it typically may not be received in a beneficial way. Someone may get upset, they may think that you're damaging their car or feel personally spited, but that why did you throw, I hit the brakes. Like, what was that? She said, oh, he threw a water bottle. My niece is laughing because she was like, yo, he was like, slow down, boom, throws the water bottle. So I rolled the window down and I said, Como, like, what happened? The lady said, you need to slow down. I was like, oh, okay, je suis désolée, je suis désolée. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the heck out of here more than you want me out of here. Okay, I am sorry, ain't no problems. I'm just trying to get out, okay? So sorry, I'm just trying to get out. Just trying to get out. You don't need to throw a water bottle. So they smile and say, okay, because they saw that I was just like I wasn't in a familiar place and I was trying to leave. So I hit a reverse. I get back on whatever road I'm on. Again, my niece is laughing because she was like, how does this always happen to you? Like, why would that guy throw a water bottle? Like, it was all hilarious for her. And just a minute. Okay. Okay. So now we're driving. We're no longer in where I shouldn't be. And we're just circling around because I'm trying to find the police department. I'm trying to find the police department so we can see the hot guys at the police station and report that our phones are stolen. And I keep going around in circles because I do not have Google Maps and now it's dark. And oh, also, right when we left the beach, it starts pouring raining. Like it starts drizzling and then it immediately starts pouring raining. And my niece reminded me because she said, as soon as we left, it started pouring, Hope. And we're like laughing in the car. And I share that because, again, there may be a situation where a person says, of course this is going to happen. My phones were stolen. Now it's pouring, raining. I can't see. For me, it was like, of course. And I laughed it off. And I will continue to share that because don't lose your head. Whatever happens, you'll get through it. Listen to me. 3 phones. So we're going around in circles. I stop at a grocery store. I stop at a gas station and I ask for directions and they would tell me, okay, so à droite, à gauche, like look for the McDonald's. Like, oh, McDonald's. Okay. And then à gauche, like, okay, all right, look for the McDonald's, turn left. And it seemed easy, but it did take a few hours. But we finally got there. So we arrived at the police department to report that our 3 phones had been stolen on the beach earlier in Tahiti at Point Venus Beach. We're all suited and booted. We're smelling good. We have our beautiful dresses on because the police officers are gorgeous and tan and buff and like amazing. And so we walk up to the police department, which is in the area where you would have like a city hall and all of these departments. And I buzz the button. Yeah. So someone picks up like, bonsoir. And I say, oh, I'm here. I need help with an incident that happened to me. So they buzz me in, and of course, they're all fine. And me and my niece walk in with like these huge smiles. And we began, there was 2 guys like, how can we help you? And I said, I have experienced being robbed at Point Venus Beach earlier today around noon, 1 in the afternoon. Um, and they said, okay, well, do you have any information? Do you have your IMEI number? Do you have any of this? And we're like, my niece can find that from her computer. I have nothing, nada, zilch. I don't have nothing. I'm like, nah, I have the vision of what my phone looks like, but I don't have anything else. And so while we were there, I remembered that on in the grocery store that Sunday, there was this man when I was looking at like hair conditioners. He was like, "Oh, you are such a gentle, beautiful woman." I'm like, "Of course I am." He just comes and tells me this, compliments me. And so we start talking. He's this tall gentleman, Polynesian gentleman, and he said, "My name is Bruce, and you just stand out." I was like, "Okay, of course I do. And I'll entertain this." He's like, "Are you from Madagascar?" Everyone thought we were from Madagascar while we were in Tahiti. And oh, yes. So while we were, this was in the grocery store the day that everything was closed, which was a Sunday, and everything is closed on Sunday. Most European countries and a lot of countries, but everything is closed. So, Sundays, when you travel places, go to the grocery store. It's a meat market. That's where everyone is. They're loading up on their groceries, their supplies. Like you can meet everyone. We met everyone in the grocery store. So, met this gentleman named Bruce. And Bruce was like, "You're such a kind soul. Like everything you're saying is so empowering. Um, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, that's what I do. I'm a inspirational speaker. What about yourself?" He said, "Oh, I'm in the police. I work for the police." So I remembered this. I was like, "Okay, I met Bruce in the grocery store, and he works for the police." So on this next day, which is like Monday, was it Monday or Tuesday? When we're reporting the stolen phones to the police officers, I'm like, is Bruce working? And they're like, "You know Bruce?" I said, "Yeah, I know Bruce. Does he work here?" They were like, "He does. How do you know Bruce?" I said, "I know Bruce from the grocery store." They're like, "How do you know Bruce from the grocery store?" But I was just bringing up anything. But I remember I met Bruce in the grocery store. Maybe he can help me because he told me he was a police officer. So I they asked, "Well, what happened?" I told them what happened, and they said, "Well, did you go to the police department in Point Venus?" Because remember, my phones were robbed at Point Venus Beach, and there's a police department there. But my thought was like, "No, I'm coming back to the city center." And they said, "Well, that's their jurisdiction. That's not our jurisdiction. So it would actually make better sense for you tomorrow to report it to the police department in Point Venus around 8:30 in the morning." I'm like, "Why 8:30? Why can't I just go at any time? Like the phones are already stolen. Why do I have to be there at 8:30 in the morning?" That's what I'm thinking. So we continue to talk, and I'm telling them and telling them, they're asking about me, and we are at the police department, the police station in Papeete in Tahiti, reporting the theft of our 3 phones that were stolen earlier that day. And so as we're talking, one of the officers, my niece says they weren't doing anything in the back. Like we would talk to them and then they would go in the back and they would come back out. And one of them said, "You know what you need to do? You don't need to go back there tomorrow. Come back to this police station." And my niece was like, "They just want to see us up here." They are like, "You don't need to go way out there. Just come back here tomorrow and we can do more for you." I'm thinking, okay, we've done our due diligence. We have informed them of what has happened and talked to these fine ass police officers, these Tahitian police officers that are fine, and just it was quite an enjoyable experience. So It is at night now. It is dark. We are hungry. So me and my niece leave, and we're laughing because the entire day, like, has been a range of emotions. From so excited because I picked up the car and we're going to explore, to seeing this beautiful beach, this black sand beach, to being in the water, to taking a walk, to coming back to our bags on the beach with 3 iPhones stolen, to leaving and being in the rain and having to drive back to our Airbnb with no Google Maps and our pure brain power, and laughing about the situation, but looking forward to seeing the fine ass police officers, to taking a shower, getting dressed, having a dessert, having a tea, going to the police station, getting lost, going basically not to the hood, but to the local spot, getting stuck on the street, someone telling me, hey, slow down, boom, throws the water bottle at the car. Like, all of this has transpired in the day. So we are laughing, but we're ready to eat. So that night after we left, we're like, yeah, we deserve a beautiful meal. We deserve a beautiful meal. So we went to this place called Botanical. And I had saw it because it was upstairs on the main way, on the main road, because there's one main road, and it had been closed, but it was open. So we went to this restaurant and it was so cute. Yeah, it was eventful. It was definitely eventful, but don't lose your head. It will all work out. So we went to Botanical, which was beautiful. The wallpaper were like banana leaf wallpaper, not banana leaves, but the beautiful prints, like a Art Deco banana leaf print, and gold fixtures, and forest green velvet chairs with gold hardware, and the plant wall. Like, it was just incredible. And we ordered food and had an incredible meal and just laughed and enjoyed the day. Like, look how we've handled the day. And now we're enjoying a meal at this beautiful place. And I share that because, again, there's a huge population that the moment they saw their phones were stolen, everything is all bad. The day is ruined, the vacation is ruined, their life is ruined, everything is ruined. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to lose your head. You don't. You get to choose how you direct your energy. You get to choose the direction of your day, no matter what happens. I get to choose. The reason why people say, Hope, you're always so positive, yeah, because that's just the intention. It's not, I'm going to have a good day if no one makes me upset. It's not, I'm going to have a good day if my phones get stolen. It's not, I'm going to have a good day if I have money. No, it's a great day. If that happens, it's still a great day. I can still see the beauty in the day. I can still make it a great day. It's not, it was a great day and then this happened and now the day's ruined. No, it's not. I get to choose. I set the intention. I set the outlook to the day. And y'all just let anything ruin your day. This would take you off of your path as a whole if anything was robbed from you. So I share that one, and I truly mean, don't lose your head. Yeah, the phones were taken, but it's just a phone. Now I get to focus on nature and what's around me and myself and figuring this out. Now I don't have to. Now it's a different adventure. But I don't have to constantly think of the fact that my phones were stolen and they shouldn't have done this. Sure, but it happened. So what? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Instead of just repeat the observation. The observation is the phones were taken. Yes. I move past the observation, meaning, yes, the phones are taken, and it's still a great day. Yes, the phones are taken, and I'm MacGyver. I will figure this out. It doesn't have to ruin my day. I learned this from my father and also the passing of my father. Yeah, my father died, and I live a great life. Yeah, my father died, and today is a great day. Yeah, I'm feeling sad about the death of my father, and it's still a great day. I live a great life. Life is great. I can feel the emotions or the sadness or whatever it is and still know my day is great. Everything is still working out for me. It's not either or. I don't lose my head. I don't lose my head. It's a simple thing that can happen. And truthfully, I'm okay. This is a beautiful story, and this will work out for me in some way, and I know how to handle this, and I know how to speak the language, so I can go and explain this to somebody. And that's what I mean by don't lose your head, really. With anything in life, don't lose your head. The other thing is this whole story, the story is set in Tahiti. That's the other thing. Most of y'all mofos aren't ever gonna see French Polynesia. So I also remember that, because no matter what happens, look where I am. Am I gonna allow what happened with 3 iPhones being stolen take away from the fact that I'm still in Tahiti? I'm still enjoying my time. I'm still here for the first week of January. I'm still enjoying my life. Yes, this happened, but I don't have to let that take my joy. And I'm resourceful. And this will get sorted. Period. Whatever happens, I'm okay. Whatever happens, it's all working in my favor. Whatever happens, it's working in my favor. Especially that I'm in Tahiti. What's up? You know, I have to say, I'm very proud of you, because I've seen Miss Asia KW. I've seen that you've been on your lives, you've been on your Zoom, you've been posting, and I'm very proud of you. So I am shouting you out because you're on it and you're doing it. And I loved your Lola Rose dress. Are you going to a ball, or are you going to an event or a fundraiser? Because it's a beautiful dress and it's a beautiful life. I would suggest, because you have a great voice, speak in your videos, because you have a great voice. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Is it like because the National Black Caucus dinner should be coming up, like a lot, Black Correspondents, a lot of these events are happening in like February, and I remember because I know about these things when I lived in DC, and there's always a lot of great events, and I've spoken about that. Side note, I always said when I lived in DC, it was like, it's such an amazing social scene. I knew that I did not want to be in DC forever, but I do love the DMV area. I do. I went to some great events. There's a lot of great events. There's a lot of great events everywhere. There are, but during certain times, especially in DC, there's more notable events. So have a great time, and speak in your videos. You've been on your Zoom. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you can do the same thing. I'm going live from my Hope is Speaking YouTube, but you can do it on YouTube. Excuse me. You can do it on Patreon. Keep it up. Yeah, but that's a great thing. Your voice is your voice. As a speaker, because I'm currently listening to my voice, most people are uncomfortable hearing their voice, but that's the difference between those who are persistent and those who let something keep them from what's theirs. I have to get used to my voice, and it's like Beyonce. She will watch back her performances. I watch back things, I listen to myself, and that's a part of it. But that's with anything you want to be great at. That discomfort of seeing yourself or listening to yourself will make you stand out. So keep standing out because you're beautiful and you're on your lives. And yeah, I remember when um, we met in the Starbucks during that horrible time because Texas is I'm not gonna really talk about Texas. I'm not a. I'm so particular. I'm polarizing with these places. Thank you, Union 808. I just bought this new shampoo from Joico. Moisture Surge from Joico. It's this blue container, the shampoo and the conditioner, which I really love because I just got rid of everything. I'm in a completely different timeline. After my 3 phones got robbed in Tahiti, I came back and I just felt anew because I have access to nothing from my previous life. I am not from LA, but I am like fire. My father's from LA. My father's side is in LA. Spent quite a lot of time in LA as a young adult, as like summers with my grandmother or with my uncle or with my great grandmother, or Christmases or different times during the year. But I do not claim LA. LA is not cool to me. But part of me has came from there. Can you talk about healthy eating habits? Yeah, but here's the thing. I just eat what my body needs. So I don't really think about it. I drink a lot of water. I always have water. I speak into my water. So I say, hope you are so powerful, like this, like this. I always have a cute, like, canteen. I always have water with me because being a flight attendant for 15 years, flight attendants, we always have water. And I say we because even though I'm no longer a flight attendant, I'm always a flight attendant at heart. Hydrating. And as a speaker, I'm always drinking water. So I drink water. I put cloves in my water, which is great for your skin and your body and your respiratory system. So in my water, I will throw like a handful of cloves and just let it sit. In the mornings, I don't eat too much. Like, I'm big on when I get up. My morning routine is consistent, and I've spoken about it. As soon as I get up, I don't get on my phone. I have been, but I typically will immediately listen to positive affirmations or like crystal sound bowls or subliminals. So something positive. I immediately journal. So I'll say, oh, I feel so positive. I will write my dream. I will write a whole page of something just to clear your brain. Instead of waking up, getting on your phone, seeing all of these things, like, our brains, right when we wake up, are at their most impressionable. So that is exactly when I'm not going to look at my phone. I wake up, I get my journal or a piece of paper, and let me show you because this is so cute. I just got these positive pins. Like, this one says, nothing can stop you. I love this type of stuff. And this folio, look how cute this is. Going places. And it's like you can put stuff inside, but it has a cute pink notepad that I can just clip onto here because I'll write ideas or I'll write things down. I always have a notepad. So right when I wake up, I write either my dream or whatever is on my mind. Then I immediately go into positive affirmations. I am powerful. I am sexy, resilient, strong, charismatic, healed. My skin is glowing. I feel incredible. I am energized with the best positive energy. My body is strong. I trust myself, like a whole page of that. And then I have a 10-minute meditation, but I usually go for like 15 or 20 minutes. Now that could just be deep breathing with quiet. That could be to crystal sound healing bowls on YouTube. That could be to positive affirmations, but that's my morning. Every morning I drink water. I speak positive words into my water. I go floss, brush my teeth, scrape my tongue, spray my face with not tea tree oil, witch hazel, put on sunscreen, and then I make a cup of tea. So in the morning, I don't really eat too much. There's an orange tree in the back, so I may come pick an orange and eat an orange and drink a bunch of water, and that's it. I then take my walk, or like an hour outside. So rollerblade, walk, bike ride, something. And then what do I eat? I just eat like, I like to eat for my cycle. So depending where I am in my cycle, that's what I eat. But I typically will eat what's in season, because those are the nutrients you need for where you are, whatever is in season. And then I have my oatmeal. I haven't really been having oatmeal. I haven't really been eating so much in the morning outside of fruit. But for lunch, I've been buying more food lately, like eating at local places, which is wonderful. There's this place with this lentil soup that I love, that I absolutely love. So yeah, I'll talk more about that. I don't eat disgusting food. I'm not just going to eat something because I'm hungry. It has to fuel my body or add to me in some way. It has to. And you actually need less food than you think you need. I don't do 3 whole meals. I kind of graze through the day, but it's more hydrating, like more water. I drink lots of tea. Sometimes it's caffeinated, sometimes it's not. I've been eating this salad with this delicious, like, honey almond cauliflower. Oh my gosh, it's so great. I'm going to go have that salad again tonight. So there's that. That was a little about me eating. So we reported the 3 stolen phones to the police. We went and had a beautiful dinner at Botanica, and this is all in Tahiti. We went back to our Airbnb, and then the next day we had to go back to the police department to like give our statement to the police station in Tahiti. So that's what we did the next morning. And they said be there at 8:30 in the morning. I was like, no, I'm not. I'll be there when I'm there. I'm not good. No. Like, I've had enough for this day. I'm going to rest, and I will get there when I get there. So we showered up. I think we just packed up our Airbnb because you typically have to be out at 11. We had the car and we were flying out of Tahiti that day, but all of the flights out of Tahiti leave in the evening, like 10 at night. And so I was returning the car at 8 p.m. And so we get ready, we pack up the Airbnb. I am meticulous about leaving wherever I stay as beautiful as it was when I checked in. So even as at a hotel. And I got this from my dad, because whenever we would travel with my parents, and this was like the late 80s and through the 90s, my dad always loved Marriott. He always had a high status with Marriott. And so we would stay in the adjoining rooms or a suite, and my dad would say, like, make your bed up before we leave. And I'd be like, why? There's maids. And he said, no, because people pay attention. They pay attention even in a hotel. And he was right, because during my time as a flight attendant, people do pay attention. And if you are rude and you consistently visit a certain hotel chain or a certain hotel, they keep notes. They keep notes of people that steal coffee pots. Like, flight attendants steal all this random stuff. I don't steal the robes. That's gross to me. I can just buy a robe. Like, I just think of how many people would have worn the robe. I don't steal the towels, but they will keep a file on you. And so I remember my dad saying that, and I always make the bed. I'm big with making my bed, but even if I stay in a hotel, I always make the bed. I'll pile all the towels into a pile in the bathroom. The place will look beautiful. So the same with the Airbnb. We left and we went to the police station to further write our report because we had gone to the Black Sand Beach in Tahiti at Point Venus the day before, took a walk. And while we were on our walk, 3 iPhones, my 2 phones, as well as my niece's phone, were stolen. And we came back and we were like, oh, we got robbed. We got robbed. But you don't lose your head. It's okay. There was nothing else that was taken. I was safe. Somebody came up. I get it. You got 3 iPhones. That's hot commodity. So now the next day, we are flying out that night, but we have to go back to the police station to give our report. So we check in, and again, the policemen in Tahiti are all the finest men that you'll ever see. They have the most golden, beautiful skin. They are tan, they are tall, they are muscular, they're like well put together, polished French with like a part in their hair. They're just, we were so excited to go to the police station. Like, they were all, and they smell good. It wasn't like in the US with big stomachs and like eating donuts, like, what do you need? No, these men were beautiful. And men's looks don't really stand out to me because I love intelligence and someone who can talk, but this was great. This was fantastic. So we went the next day, and it was a completely different, did you? You might have. If you were there, then I was there. So it's no disrespect. If you were at the party and you saw me, we were both there, weren't we? So as we were there, it was such a comfortable environment, because in the US, most of the time, if you're at the police station, it's not the most comfortable environment. It's a comfortable environment. There's a lot of laughter. People are well put together. There's order. It's complete opposite from the US. And the men are absolutely fine with nice toned round butts. It was nice. So we had informed the guy who was like checking people in that I had been there that prior night, and I'm explaining to them in French what happened, and then they take my ID and passport, they go to the bag, blah, 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 blah. We go back and forth, and he comes back with a phone. So I'm like, allô? Allô? Oui? Je suis Hope. And it was an interpreter, and it was an interpreter saying, listen, I'm the interpreter that is going to come and help you file this report. However, I'm about 1 hour away from the station. So if you can return in 1 hour, I will be there and I will clarify everything and I will be your interpreter. And I was like, ooh, an interpreter. This is fantastic. This is so great. So I said, okay, well, j'ai retourné à midi. I'll come back at noon. And so I tell my niece, hey, we have an interpreter. He's coming from a different town on Tahiti Island, and we can go away for the hour. So we go to the grocery store to get prepared food, because the grocery store is abroad. The prepared food is delicious compared to like a restaurant, because we did not have time. We had time, but if you're in especially a French territory, you're not going to be dining and in and out within 1 hour, because you'll have your starter and your meal and like maybe a dessert, a coffee, a tea. It's going to take time. So we went and grabbed something to eat. I had a nice salad, this salade Americaine, which was like American salad, which was shredded purple cabbage, carrots, coriander, like mayonnaise, Thousand Island. It was very like typical American, but it was delicious. And my niece had like a fruit salad, and we ate and we returned back, and the interpreter was there, and the interpreter interpreted. And as I'm talking to the interpreter, he was like, "You speak really good French. Are you You're American?" Which is the best compliment. It is the best compliment that no one ever believes that I'm American when I travel, especially when I'm speaking French, which is the best thing. Because don't put me in the same category as those ragamuffins. No way. I'm one of the good ones. So we're talking, and he was like, "How did you learn French?" And I told him, and he said, "You could be." So I learned French from many sources. Initially, my great grandmother, my father's grandmother, is Creole by way of Louisiana. So her mother was passing, although she was black, she was passing, she was very fair, but she came from the islands, from France. And so my great grandmother, I remember her speaking French and Creole when I was young, and I was always like, wow, that's amazing. And being from New Orleans, she would fix etouffee and she would fix gumbo, and I have that part of lineage, which I remember. And my father would say he would always remember her saying, "Oh, get my chapeau," her hat. So I remember that, and I thought it was so cool. So I remember hearing that, and then 7th grade, I started taking French, which I loved throughout high school. And then I just continued. I would listen to French radio, and this is in like the 90s and early 2000s. I would go online and read like French websites, French music. And then once I became a flight attendant, anytime I was in Paris or Brussels or Genève, which is Geneva, the French side of Switzerland, I would just speak during the whole layover. And really, if I heard anybody who was French come on any plane, that is a free lesson. People pay sometimes $150 an hour for a French tutor. So I got you in this metal tube for the next however long. I will go up to you and be like, "Oh, est-ce que tu pratiquais les langues de français avec tu?" And no one will say no. People appreciate when you try. And that's because I made it a goal to speak like a native speaker. I seek to do everything to a mastery level. And so I would purposely work French trips. I also had a French boyfriend for a long time. And I was always in Paris, and I lived in Paris. Like I spent a lot of time. Not like a day or two. I would spend weeks at a time in a month in Paris, or traveling with native French speakers. So it just came. And most of it was solidified by traveling like in French speaking West Africa, because you always know more than you know. But if a person doesn't know English, I'm forced to speak French. So if I was in Senegal, where they may speak slower and I can hear the breaks in words, I just always felt more comfortable, and that's where it came from. So I also had a flatmate when I lived in London who was fluent in French, German, Dutch, Flemish, English. So I would practice with her. So it was a lot of practicing, a lot. And then it's just a lot of small phrases. So And the guy said, "You can be an interpreter here. You speak very good French." And I said, "Well, what does that consist of?" And he said, "Well, you come in and do things like this. So if someone needs help filing a report, I come and I'm the interpreter." And he said, "So last week I had to interpret this American man who his Polynesian girlfriend broke up with him. So he set her house on fire and burned the house down to the ground. So I had to come to the police station and help him file this report and talk to the lawyers." I'm like, why'd he burn her house to the ground? Like, can you break up with someone in peace? Because y'all be nuts. That's insane. But I get it, because I'm Hope. I can see someone wanting to do that because I'm just amazing. How are you going on without me? And I remember saying that to a friend, like, I don't know how people go on without me. And she looked at me like, "Hope, you are insane." I was like, well, one doesn't have to because he died. So he doesn't have to continue life without me. But the others, I don't know how they go on. Hilarious. So now I'm going to go get my salad. So we will continue. I got robbed. This is what I learned tomorrow. If you have not already subscribed to Hope is Speaking YouTube, I go live at the same time that I go live here on TikTok, but I will continue to go live on my Hope is Speaking YouTube channel. I post all of my lives. I have content I would have posted about Tahiti and my Airbnbs, but my phones were robbed. But I have the footage in here. So I also post like when I speak. Oh, I have something amazing to tell you on Valentine's Day. I have to wait till then, but just know about that. So subscribe to Hope is Speaking. I'm not running to any other apps, so there's that. But this is fun, and this is what I learned. Don't lose your head. So what? Yes, 3 iPhones stolen, but I'm in Tahiti on a black sand beach, staying in a beautiful place, speaking French, eating beautiful food. Don't lose your head. Life goes on. Like, you lose your head if someone cuts you off in traffic. How are you going to meander getting robbed in a foreign country? Well, you're not, because you don't travel, but it's not that bad. Life will go on. And I'm here to encourage you, to let you know you will. So continue to be great. And I close my lives with these 3 things. Oh, yes, and this is one of the dresses that I got whilst in Tahiti. Number 1, be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Secondly, show up. Show up for that vacation. Show up for the gym that you said you were going to start, but you've probably already stopped. Show up. Show up for showing up on social media. Show up for how you're showing up in life now. Just show up, because it can't happen if you don't show up. And finally, imagine how good it will be. Like, I said that this morning, I expect something great to happen. Like, I expect it. I don't expect bad. I don't expect nothing. I expect something extraordinary. Expect extraordinary. Expect better. Expect it. Just expect it and know it. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's great. And see what that brings you. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Ciao.